In some cases, especially in Class 3 products, the entire assembly could be rejected for one solder joint that doesn't meet the requirements of the specification. In cases like this, you may have to rework the solder joint. For Class 1 or 2 products, the decision may not be so simple. If there is only one solder joint that is slightly less than the required minimum size, it's important to check with your supervisor or a quality assurance person to determine whether the assembly can be passed or whether it needs to be reworked. This communication will also ensure that the source of the problem is corrected. On the other hand, when a Class 1 or 2 assembly has a solder joint that is way below the acceptable limits, so much that the joint is clearly too small to hold up during the mechanical stresses of day-to-day operation, you would need to make a decision to rework the solder joint. Again, the decision to rework a specific connection is different for every assembly and every company. The dimensional requirements in IPC J Standard 001 provide you with information you need to help you make these important decisions. Your company's or customer's requirements may be slightly more or less stringent than the J Standard, and of course, those workmanship standards will be the final criteria. But it is helpful to know what the industry standards are to gain some perspective on the relative importance of each type of deviation. Your job is to know what the current requirements should be for every assembly you build. Our last topic in this introductory section deals with terminology. Regardless of the soldering specification you use, there are standard terms used to describe the attributes of a solder joint. Perhaps the most important term in the entire soldering vocabulary is the concept of wetting. Wetting is defined as the formation of a relatively uniform, smooth, unbroken film of solder, metallurgically bonded to the basis metal. Various degrees of wetting are characterized by the angle of contact between the solder and the basis metal. A smaller contact angle between the two surfaces is a general indication of better wetting and a stronger bond. A larger contact angle indicates a decreased ability of the solder to wet and flow over the surface. On any type of solder joint, the target contact angle is less than 90 degrees. A contact angle that exceeds 90 degrees usually indicates poor wetting or excessive solder. If a solder joint has a convex appearance as a result of excessive solder, however, it can be difficult to tell whether the surface is properly or poorly wetted. Convex fillets caused by excess solder extending over the land can sometimes be an acceptable condition. One attribute of a properly wetted joint is the presence of a smooth and uniform layer of solder, both on the surfaces of the lead or termination and on the surface of the land. The solder should also feather out smoothly onto the fillet or outline of the solder joint and be slightly concave or curved inward.